Hey, what's happening, guys? I hope you're all doing fantastic. So let's talk about this time period film adaptation of the 1951 novel by Daphne Du Maurier called My Cousin Rachel.
You could lose everything. Everything.
Drink.
This one is directed by Roger Michell and it stars Rachel Weisz and Sam Claflin. This story follows a young Englishman named Philip who learns he's going to be inheriting the estate of his dead guardian named Ambrose. Ambrose also had a beautiful wife that Philip thinks has some kind of connection with Ambrose's death, but once Philip meets his cousin Rachel and is kind of lured underneath her charm, it isn't long before he falls for her and his judgment really begins to cloud as he decides to leave his inheritance to her. Admittedly, I knew nothing of this film before a week ago, but it did look interesting and it looked like a potentially compelling time period drama with some doses of good suspense, and My Cousin Rachel, from all accounts, seems to be a beloved book after all these years, and this was the first film adaptation since 1952, so I was a little interested. I also think Rachel Weisz is a great actress, and from the trailer, she looked to be well casted in this role of a charming woman with many hidden layers, so I was really interested in seeing how this story was going to play out, but after watching and without even having read the novel, I really can feel safe in saying that the script did not do the source material justice. I certainly thought this was a well-crafted film. The dialogue for the most part did feel natural to the time period and the region, that the wardrobes and the set designs all look fantastic, as you really could see the attention to detail in that element was a focal point. I thought the backdrops and locations were all very well selected and they do an effective job of immersing you into the story settings. The performances themselves were much more than serviceable. Weisz really feels natural in her role, and with her subtle energy you can truly buy into the character that she's portraying. I thought she really felt and conveyed that properness in a very effective way, but with her expressions and mannerisms, she really was able to make emotional shifts on a dime, which added a lot of intrigue to her presence in this story. Sam Claflin was also very good in his portrayal of the young and heavily naive Philip. You can really feel the torment and the joy that Rachel cast on him throughout this story, and to some extent you can kind of sympathize with his character, but I thought Claflin did an excellent job in making these emotional swings with a smooth delivery and a nice realism to really connect you with his character to a certain level. I also thought Weisz and Claflin built a strong chemistry with one another. You can always sense that Weisz's character was posturing, but with their interactions and the warm connections between them, you really could never be too sure of the intentions. They really felt natural in their scenes together, and they both sell that love angle of their dynamic as well as the turbulent one with more than enough impact. Unfortunately though, the positives I have with this movie for the most part in there. I thought as good as Weisz and Claflin were in their performances, they still could have created some much deeper and impactful characters had the material let them do so. Weisz was enjoyable as the mysterious Rachel, but I did feel like she was being restrained and she could have done much more with this role. And from the synopsis, I was expecting to see the story of a woman's manipulation and deceit, but really this was just the tale of a gullible man, and I felt the way this story played out didn't properly portray the character of Rachel, and her cunning charm was in the end overshadowed by the character of Philip's unrealistic puppy love. And sure, love at first sight exists. Like a light switch, you can know in an instant that someone is the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, but this movie sets up a man being curious to a woman's involvement in his cousin or guardian's death, and when he gets there and sees her for the first time, he does a complete flip-flop and is suddenly in love. Now I guess this can happen, but it isn't compelling cinema at all. It just had a melodramatic feel to it, and the lack of substance to convey why he had this turn of feelings just completely pulled me out of the movie. I thought the passion and energy between these two characters was just not developed well at all in the writing, and while Weisz and Claflin make the most out of it, they don't cover up the fact that the screenplay was just lacking a lot of depth. And once the ability to connect with these characters is lost, I thought the pace just slowed dramatically as it turned out to be all drama and no suspense, and instead of being the story of a woman commanding a situation silently as she imposes her manipulation, turned out to just be watching a lovesick young man stumble after a woman from his own misguided heart, and nothing more than the appearance of Rachel. Overall, I thought this movie was a letdown, and despite some strong visual appeal and some nice direction from Roger Michell, this was pretty much just a boring movie, and I'm going to have to give My Cousin Rachel a C-. People who love time periods, semi-love stories may find some interest in this one, but you will certainly see the flaws as well if you have seen many other films in this genre. And that's my review of My Cousin Rachel, guys. Let me know in the comments below if you're interested in seeing this movie. Don't forget to drop this video a like if you're still here. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss a thing. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. You're all fantastic. I'm Anthony. This is the SilverScreen Analysis, and I'll see you at the movies.